Right, the SAFA elective congress takes place tomorrow at the Sandton Convention Center. The nominated candidates will be vying for the SAFA presidency hot seat, a spot on National Executive Committee, as well as the provincial office. Khotso Sello tells us a bit more about this.
The names of the candidates have well and truly been finalized ahead of this year's South African Football Association elective congress. This despite the country's football governing body being kept busy extinguishing fires as disgruntled presidential candidates hauled them to court. The Pretoria High Court dismissed SAFA Vice President Rialet Waba's attempt to stop the elective congress. SAFA also had to deal with a campaign that targeted Denny Jordan, who will be running for a third term as president. The governance committee was approved by SAFA's National Executive Committee at the 30th Ordinary Congress at the Sandton Convention Center on the 26th of March. The majority of the NEC members approved the appointment of the committee. They were tasked with dealing with any issue around the candidates and checking whether they meet the criteria for nomination in terms of the SAFA statutes.
Today was a groundbreaking meeting in that the constitutional amendments process that we embarked upon in 2018 was finalized in 2022 at today's meeting. There were 3 or 4 amendments from members that were defeated again. That concerns the voting in respect of NEC members, whether the president of the NSL, PSL can become the president, and whether he remains the vice president of the association. That position remains the same. That motion was defeated by a huge majority. There was only 3 members in favor of that. And insofar as the other amendments are concerned, I say they're groundbreaking amendments because it takes the association forward to the next 10 years.
As the drama continues to unfold, the stage has been set for the biggest showdown that will ever befall incumbent President Jordan since he took over in 2013.
I feel we are not going to have free and fair elections. The fact that in the history of South African Football Association, we have always have a year, at least a year, because in an ordinary congress, a year before the elective congress, you always announce the date of the election and the candidate can then go and visit all the members, you know, to discuss. And this time around, unfortunately, you can only do it telephonically if you get the members. But you would have loved to meet with the members of each and every region, PSL and associate member, and to discuss with them so that they can be able to ask those relevant questions and you can be able to answer. Then they can be able to make a decision.
Ledwaba is not the only one unamused with the chopping and changing of statutes ahead of the Congress. Former SAFA CEO Dennis Mumble has slammed the fact that presidential candidates were only given 14 days to campaign.
There's no such rule. And I challenge the South African Football Association to come and show me where that rule is. You see, the South African Football Association is an organization of rules. It's governed by its constitution and its associated rules and regulations. Those rules and regulations are intended to give effect to those broad principles in the Constitution itself. And there used to be, or there is an electoral code, which they think, and I'm very deliberate in saying they think that they have done away with that electoral code. Now that electoral code governs the elections of the South African Football Association, and that electoral code emanates from FIFA. FIFA has a standard electoral code that it republished in 2021. In September 2021, it republished that electoral code as part of the FIFA handbook of what all federations, all of the member associations of FIFA are supposed to follow.
Meanwhile, SAFA CEO Advocate Tebogo Mohlante promises a free and fair elections.
The statute of SAFA says once you become a chairperson of LFA, let us not even go there because people are creating an impression that it only applies on top. The statutes of SAFA says once Mr. Govinda Sami is appointed the chairperson of the LFA, he cannot have any interest in any member. Who are the members in the LFA level? Those are clubs. because that's where football starts. So once he is elected the chairperson of the LFA, he then must cease to have any interest in any member.
The Jordan camp is highly confident going into the Congress this weekend. They claim that Ledwaba only has 8 of the 52 regions supporting her campaign. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Khotso in Johannesburg.